Learning Python Programming Part 7. Today we discuss about the functions in the Python. So a function in a Python is a block of code that can be reused multiple times. Functions are defined with a keyword, diff keyword, followed by the function name and the set of the perimeters. Function can take the perimeter as the input and can return a value or multiple values as the output. The code inside the function is indeed and run whenever the function is called. Functions are a way to organize and structured code, making it more readable and reusable. They also helps to break down the complex problems into the smaller and simple part. So this is a syntax of the function, keyword, function name, perimeters, their body, whatever the code is there, and they return the values. Now we see how to call a function with the help of this example. We copy this example and try to understand how to call a function in Python. So the function1 is defined with a single parameter a. When the function is called by its name function1 and passing an argument for the value of a, inside the function is set the value of the argument passed, which is 4. When the function is called, the program execution jump to the first line of the function, and being an execution, execute the code inside the function. The first line inside the function increase the value of a by 5. So the new value of a inside the function becomes 9. Then the next line creates a new value b and set to the value a plus 2, which is 9 plus 2, 11. Hence the return statement is used to return the value of the b to the calling point. Once the end of the function is reached, the program jump back to the point where the function is called and continue the execution of the rest of the code. In this case, the next line is after the function called the print statement, so it prints the return value of the function, which is 11. So when you run it, you find out the result here. Next we see that call a function inside another function. There are two functions are there. We also we again copy this program, paste it here, and see that how it's work. So the program defines two functions, function1 and function2. First function takes a single parameter a. It increase the value of a by 5, create a new variable b and set its value a plus 2. Then it return the value of b. The second function, function2, takes a single parameter c. It increases the value of the c by 2. It calls the function 1c and assign the return value of the function 1c to the variable c. Then it return the value of the c. The code called the function 2 with the argument 3. So the value passes to the function 2 is 3. The value of the c inside the function 2 is 3 plus 2, which is 5. Then the function 2 calls the function 1 with an argument 5. And the value of the a inside the function 1 is 5 plus 5, 10. And the value of b is 10 plus 2, 12. The return statement of the function 1 send the value of the b to the function 2. And so the value of the c is 12. The final line calls the print function and it print the value of the function 2, which is 12. So we can see that the result is 12. So this is the way that how we can call function inside the another function. So next we talk about pass variable by values. Here we pass the variable by their value itself. So we copy the program to understand that how it's work, and then we will see. So in this program, a function name fun1 is defined and take an argument I, assign the value I to that argument, and then we can print the value of the I. After that, variable I is defined with a new value 10 and function called with the variable I in that case. So when the function I here called with the value of the I equals to 10 is passes to the function, and the function assign the value 5 assign the value 5 to the copy of the I within that function. Thus the original variable I outside the function is remain unchanged. So when you run it, you can see that 5 is that is the I equals and I is still value 10, not the 5. But in the previous case, when passed by references, the value is updated in that case. Now we talk about function arguments. Function arguments are the value of the variable passes to a function when it called. These arguments are used by the function to perform its intended operations. So there are several types of the function argument in the Python, including positional, keyword, default, variable length. So we talk about one by one of these. First we talk about the positional argument, also known as required or non-keyword arguments, are passes to the function in a special order. The function assigns the value to the perimeter based on their position in the function signature. The first value passes to the function is assigned to the first perimeter, second value is passes to the perimeter assigned to the second perimeter, and so on. If the number of the values passes to the function is less than the number of the parameters, or if the value are passes in the wrong order, it gives some errors. So we can take that how positional argument work here. So we copy this function and paste it, and we run this one. So in this program we define a function fun with two arguments I and j, and we call the print in a two different fashion. So first print the statement, print the value of I and j in the order they pass to the function, and the second is that the reverse, that means j followed by the I. When the function is called on the last line, the passes the value of 1 and 2 for I and j. So here we can say that the output passes 1 I and 2 j. So ij, then they print the 1 2. If we do the ji, then 2 1. So the order is important, and they make the order of the perimeters. Now we talk about this keyword argument, which is also known as the named arguments, are passes to the function by specifying the perimeter name and its value. It improves the code readability and provides the ability to assign the specific value to the perimeter that have preset default values. The order of the argument doesn't matter here. So we can take an example and see that how it's work. So in this program, we define a function fun that takes the one positional argument I, and another one is the default argument j, which value is the 5. This means that if the argument j is not provided when the function is called, it will default value 5. And in the function called the last line, when function called the last line, the argument I is passed as the keyword argument, and the value equals to 1, and the j is passes in the keyword argument, the value equals to 2. So you can see the value of I and j in the output. So output becomes the function assign the value of I to 1 and j to 2 to the perimeter, this one. Now here they overwrite this value, j equals to 2 you pass, but j equals to 5, they overwrite this value here. Now we take another example where we call the fun in a two way, that I equals to 1, j equals to 2, and second case j equals to 2, I equals to 1. So check that whether they overwrite or not. So in this program, the function fun takes one positional argument I, and one is the default argument j, where value is the 5. As I previously mentioned that when the function is called, if the argument j is not provided, it will take the default value of the 5. But here we provide the value, and so in the two function calls follow the function definition. Both calls pass the argument I and j as a key parameters. The first call passes the value 1 to I and 2 to j. The second one passes the value 1 to I and 2 to j. So when you print the values, you can see that the print the 1 is for I and 2 is for j in this program. So let me take the last one, that is very interesting because they have some sort of thing error here. So here in this program we define the function once again, and one positional argument I and one default argument a with the value of the 5. However, when the function called on the last line, an error will occur because the keyword argument j is passed with the value 2, but it does not match with the perimeter definition. Why? Because a and I is there. So suppose if I am writing a here, then there is no error. Why? Because they are perfectly matches with these values. So this is known as the keyword argument, and it is very important for the programming, because they pass the perimeter name and the value together. So default argument are functions perimeter that have a default value specified in the function definition. The default value is used when the value for that perimeter is not provided. So the similar as the previous one example, if we copy this program and paste it, and then we can check. So this program defines a function, again fun, and one is the positional argument I, and one is the default argument j. So in the first function call for I equals to 2 and j equals to 3, both argument are passes is the key argument, and the value 2 and value j equals to 3. So they override the value, print the 2 and 3. But in the second line, this is very interesting. In the second line, that fun one, only one argument is passed as the positional argument. So the value passes is 1. The value 5 is used for the j as a default value in that case. So function assign the value 1 to I and 5 to j. So that's where the output is the this type of the output is here. So next we talk about the variable length argument, which allows to accept the arbitrary number of arguments, and they have the two type of the operator. One is single exit, double exit. Here this is used to pass the variable number of possible argument to a function, and in that case operator is used to pass a variable number of the keyword argument to a function. So this is used for the tuples, and this is used for the keyword dictionary packaging. So let me take an example, and then we can come one by one. So this is that we take it here, variable length argument. So you can see that in this example, so the program define a function fun. They take two positional arguments I and j with respect to this and this, and a variable number of the additional positional argument, this one, because they have the operator like this one, which are packed into a tuple called the args. So these are the perimeters they packed in a tuple format. When the function is called, the last line, this one, passing the values 1 to a, b, c for I and j, and the additional argument representation. So in output, the first print statement I and j in order, they are passes to the function, and the second print statement passes the tuples args, which contains the additional positional arguments passes to the function. Now let me take a second example. So here we define again the function 1, then 2 positional argument I and j, a variable number of the additional positional argument, this one, and which are the packed into the tuples called the args, and a variable number of additional keyword argument which are packed the dictionary called the kw arguments. All the last line passes the value 1 to abc for ij, and the additional perimeter argument with respect to abc with respect to that one, and xy with respect to the dictionary that is there. Now we can check the output. So first line, they print the value of the ij in order they are passes to the function. The second line, they print the statement passes the tuples args, which contain the additional positional argument passes to the function. The third and the last statement print the dictionary like this one, x is the key and their value, y is the key and correspondence value is there. So this is all about the variable length argument. Now let me talk about the anonymous function, also known as the lambda function, which are defined without a name, and they are defined using the lambda keyword followed by the arguments and semicolon, and then the function expression. The expression is evaluated and return the when the function is called. And the lambda function are limited in a single expressions, not a complex. They cannot include the statement, assignment, or the complex logic. They also do not have a return statement. The expression is return the value in that case. So let me take these two examples and check that how these functions without a name works, or the lambda function works. So we copy the program here and run. So in this program, we define a lambda function called as a fun, and have the two argument I and j, and return the value sum of I plus j. The lambda function is assigned the variable fun in that case. Then the function is called with the argument 3 and 4, and the expression I plus j is evaluated, and return the value 7 is printed here. So this is the way that how lambda function works. Now let me take another example of the lambda function. So in that case, similar to previous one, the lambda function define a function that is named as the fun, and simply return a string here what we are calling, and it then assign the return value to the function of the message in this case, and print the message, which is the output. So we can say yes, lambda function support the arithmetic operations and also support the string functions. Now we talk about the built-in function in the Python programming. So Python support various built-in functions. So here we discuss three important functions: map, filter, and reduce. So the map function applies a given function to each item of itinerary, such as the list, tuples, string, dictionary, and return and itinerary 2 of the result. The function that is applied to each item is passed as the first argument of the map function, and then itinerary passes to the second argument, and so on. So we can take an example, then after we understand that how this inbuilt map, filter, and argument function works. So here in this program, use the map, this inbuilt function, to apply the function fun, to apply the fun function of each item itinerary numbers. The fun function takes an input I and return I multiplied by 1 by 2. Then the map function apply this one on each item of the number. The map function return an itinerary, so the list function is used to convert the itinerary to the list. The output of this code will be the new list of the same length as the numbers, containing the result of the apply of the functions to each element. So the output is 1 divided by half, and then they pass this one 2 divided by half, 3 divided by half, 4 divided by half, and the 5 divided by half, and so on. So this is the way that map function, they propagate this one and works. Let me take another example here. This is quite interesting. This one. This program will convert all the characters in the given string to uppercase using the inbuilt function string dot upper methods. And so the map function apply to string upper method to each character of the string of this one, and return an itinerary to the result to the upper character, this one. When the list function is called on the itinerary, then it returns the list of the upper character, and their corresponding output is there. So these are the examples of the map function. Let me take one more example of this one, where we use that means the lambda operation with the map. So it covers both things, lambda function and the map. So this program will apply a lambda function to each item in the list number and divide the item each item by 2. The map function applies the lambda function on each of the item in the list and return the itinerary to the result of the new number. The lambda function I into 1 by 2 takes an input I and return the value of this one, which is nothing but the divide by 2. So when we when the list function is called on the itinerary, it returns the new number each and every time. So that's why this is the output. Now we talk about the second inbuilt function, filter function. So the filter function in the Python takes two arguments. One is the function and the another is the iterable. The function often called a predict takes in an element from the itinerary and return the Boolean value which indicates whether or not the element should be included in the output. So the filter function then return the itinerary and contain only the elements from the input itinerary for which the prediction returns the true value. So let me take an example and then after we check and we run it. So initially this program defines a function fun that takes the variable I and return the true if I is greater than 2 and otherwise they are false. Then it create a list which has the numbers that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then they apply the filter function on the list and on each and every element whatever the list numbers are there. So the filter list then convert to the list using the list function and print the values what were the true values 3, 4, 5. So filter function, inbuilt function, they filter out the values based on the requirement. Let we can take the filter with lambda function that we have seen earlier. So we copy and run it. So in this program create a list which is the number and then use the filter function along with the lambda function to filter the list, keeping only the element which is the greater than 2 and filter list then convert to the list using the list function and print the values. So whatever the values are greater than 3, 2, 5. So here in these both examples they give the same output, but here we use the inbuilt function lambda and here we use the name of the function as a fun and use this one. So the answer is the same but using the lambda and without with filters. Now let me take the another example and when we do this, so this program they create a tuple that because this is a tuple that number and they contain the integers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It then use the filter function with the lambda function of the first argument which filter out the any element of the tuple which is less than or equals to 2. The filters elements are then passes to the list function which converts the them into the list assigned to the result to the variable 1j and then the final line of the code they print the value of the original tuple number this tuple with the filtered out values. So this is the way that how we can work with. So now we talk about the reduce function applies to a given function cumulative to items of the itinerary from left to right and return a single value. And this reduce inbuilt function is available in function tools module. And first, so from the function tool modules, we call first the reduce inbuilt function, and then after we use this reduce inbuilt function on the element. So let me copy it and check that how it's work, and then after we will see. So first we call the fun tools and take this function reduce function and we define a function. They have the two argument I and j and I values, j values and I into j values and return the multiply of the ij values. So assume that we define a list. We have the 5 element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so then we use the reduce function and on the fun. So each time they call the fun. So here they call the fun on this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what they will do? They do the 1 and 1 into 2. That means the 1 into 2, 2. Then 2 into 3, 6. 6 into 4, 24. And 24 into 5, 120. So in that way, they call each and every time and return a single value. So this is the reduce function. We can take another example, reduce function with the lambda. So whatever we have done here, we can repeat here with the lambda function. So we are not required any name of the function. We can directly call it that is a single line I and j perimeter and I into j. So reduce function with the lambda function on the given list number and list is already defined. So this is the way that how we can use the reduce with the inbuilt function lambda in this. So this is all about the functions in the Python programming, and in the next time we talk about the part 8 which is the models in the Python. Especially we discuss about how to save the model on your Google Drive, how to access that model from the